Hello, my loves. I am back to tell you some spooky stories that I have found on the subreddit r/paranormal. I also have my own subreddit r/spooksubmissions that anyone can post in to have their stories read here. Let's get into the stories. Our first story is My Wholesome Ghost. I have lived in this apartment for almost 3 years now, and I have the world's sweetest prankster of a ghost. Yes, she is a girl. I have firsthand seen this girl and I've heard her voice. She was frightened by me when I first moved in. My first encounter with her was right on the edge of sleep. I heard a scared girl's voice ask, "Who are you?" I brushed this off as the edge of sleep deliriousness. She was very silent for a long time, no activity. About 6 months into living in this apartment, however, she became mischievous, to say the least. I am a single man and I have certain adult objects that are battery powered. Around 3 a.m. one morning, she turned it on. I was frightened, and after regaining control of my nerves, I turned it off. She would do this another 2 times that same night. So I threw the adult object in the dumpster and said, "Battery malfunction." Just chill, that was an overreaction. Until she also started turning my PC off. This annoyed me something fierce, and after the 3rd time I angrily told her, "I will cleanse this whole freaking house if you turn it off again." She turned it off again. No problem, I'm overreacting. It was probably just the temp of the CPU getting too high and shutting off the PC. No biggie, easy fix. So I did the maintenance and said ghosts are not real, I'm just being dramatic. And then she started breathing on me when I was trying to go to sleep. Rhythmic, even breaths. No big deal, just creeps me out. I'll just turn the AC off and ensure my windows are shut. She's still breathing on me. So I took to sleeping with the blankets over my head. Tap, tap, tap. She was tapping on the mattress. I still don't have an explanation for this one, but it was always small annoying stuff. Like my work belt would disappear and then be right back where I left it. The day I knew she didn't actually want to hurt me is when I woke up in the middle of the night, opened my eyes, and saw her face inches from mine. May God strike me down if I am lying. I freak the heck out. I sleep with a knife in my reading pillow in the event of home invasions. And that's what I thought it was. I kicked at her, hitting nothing but air, and pulled the knife. She backed away. A surprised expression on her face that turned into what I still think is an apologetic grimace. I blinked, and she was gone. I have never seen her since. I just remember her clothes were modern, jeans and a sweater, with shoulder-length, straight, black hair. When I got a roommate, she stopped all activity, like she did when I first moved in. My roommate and I stay home through the weekends, both avid gamers until today. My roommate is at work and I am not. We usually have the same schedule as we work at the same place. She gave me a little message today. I was cleaning my bedroom. As I was walking out with the trash, she threw a crutch I dragged home from a house party one night on the floor. People would say it probably just fell. I have never seen something fall with so much force. It landed a few feet away from where it stood against the wall. It was like she was telling me, "Take this too." Then as I was cleaning up some more, she flicked a used ZYN at me that was on my desk, with enough force to audibly hit my chair. After my room was clean, I began to have a panic attack. I was sitting on my bed, trying to box breathe, when she moved the desk chair in front of me, left and then right, as if to say, "I am here." Ironically, it calmed me down, instead of freaking me out. My roommate just got back. Before I moved out, I went to ask him if he had any experiences with her. When I move out, she won't have me to prank anymore. Just him. I almost wish I could see that with a bucket of popcorn. That is actually so adorable. I love that she was there to comfort you when you had your panic attack. and it's really funny that she was helping point out things you needed to clean. Our next story is titled, Can Someone Tell Me What the Heck I Saw? I have experienced a lot of paranormal experiences before this one, and I have always remembered them very vividly. It still sends chills down my spine when I think about it. I was about 3 to 4 years old, in my room, in bed, about to go to sleep. The bedroom door opened, and I sat up to see who opened it, assuming it was my mom. The only way I can describe what I saw is like looking at a picture of the muscular system in a textbook, but human-sized. It was blue and purple in color. It had eyes and a mouth, and it spoke. This encounter couldn't have lasted more than 20 seconds. The thing opened the door and peeked in, kind of how a parent would check in on their child. It said something to me that I couldn't quite understand, and then closed the door. I was frozen for a good 30 seconds before I burst out screaming and crying. I ran right through that same door into the living room to my mom. I told her exactly what happened. She had some friends over who all told me it was just a bad dream, but my mom told me she believed me and let me fall back asleep on the couch with them in the living room. When I was a teenager, my mom talked to me about living in that house and all the paranormal things she had experienced there, which is why she believed me when I told her what I saw. She never saw that thing though. Her experiences were much more stereotypical. The cabinets opening and closing by themselves, seeing shadow figures out of the corner of her eye, and so on. But that house was definitely haunted. A couple of days ago, I was telling this story to my boyfriend, and he told me he read something on this type of thing before, but he couldn't remember what it was called. We both tried looking into it online, but we have found nothing. I really just want to know if anyone else has experienced anything similar, or can tell me what the heck I saw. I really want to know if anyone has seen anything similar, or can tell me what the heck it was I saw. I don't know how you had the courage to run through that door after seeing that. Oh my goodness. You are so much braver than me. The next story is titled, It Looked Just Like My Mom, But It Wasn't Her. I need answers. This happened to me 15 years ago, and it still truly terrifies me. I need answers. It was late morning, and I was at home. I live with my parents, my dad was at work, and my mom was taking a nap in her recliner in the living room. No one else lived with us, and we had no pets. I was taking a shower like usual when my dad wasn't home, and I left the bathroom door wide open into the hallway. I will have to explain the layout of this area for you to visualize the scenario. We didn't have a shower curtain. We had 3 tall, one-way mirrors that would slide together on a track towards the end of the tub. At the other end of the tub, in the corner, was shelving for towels. Right in front of the shelving, on the neighboring wall, was the bathroom door. I opened the shower doors and leaned out, about to reach for a towel, and it was right there, maybe 4 feet from me, just inside the bathroom door, but it was turned right towards me. It looked exactly like my mother. I don't recall what it was wearing because it didn't get my attention at all. What did get my attention was it was standing completely motionless, in an inhumane way. It was standing straight up, unlike my mother, but it was facing slightly turned downward and looking up at me, looking, sneering, glaring into my eyes, unblinking. I swear, the aura, the air, the vibes from it were sheer danger, pointedly focused and directed at me. I simultaneously flew myself back into the shower, squeezed my eyes shut, flailing my arms in defense, and my screaming was from the depths of me. Very loud, high pitch, and a bit long. I noticed I wasn't being attacked. I opened my eyes and saw nothing, so I froze, holding my breath. If it was walking away, I would hear it because the hallway floors creak with every step. I hear nothing. I look out towards the hallway and still see and hear nothing. I screamed loudly for my mom as I swiftly grabbed a towel and threw it over me. Covering my still dripping, wet, naked body, my mom didn't respond. I screamed for her again, terrified to peek out down the hallway and into the kitchen. Just beyond there was the living room, where my mom had been sleeping. I couldn't understand why she wasn't responding to me. I had been screaming so loud. But with the adrenaline still coursing through me, I slowly made my way down the hall. I was expecting for it to jump out at me from the kitchen, but when I made it there and scanned the area, I was in the clear. I could see my mom from where I was, and to add to my shock, horror, and confusion, she was still sleeping in her recliner, just as she had been for 30 minutes prior. I ran to her and had to shake her. I ran to her and I had to shake her for her to wake. She was immediately alarmed by my panicking, and I told her what I could. To this day, I don't know what that thing was. I've thought about it many times. It couldn't have been her out of body, because why would her intention towards me be so darn menacing? It truly wanted to hurt me, and I don't understand how she managed to sleep through all of the screaming. She would never normally sleep through something like that. And I wasn't on drugs. Our gas meter read 0. There were no windows to play on lights and shadows moving. She was crystal clear anyway. I have never hallucinated, and I don't have vision problems. It and I made solid eye contact for 3 to 4 seconds. So what the heck is this thing? Any ideas? Or any similar experiences? I'd love to know something. Anything. This can't be real, but holy heck, it really was. And I can't be the only one. So I've actually had something similar happen with my mom. I was just walking through the front door of our house, and I watched my mom go upstairs and start yelling my name, like I was in trouble for some reason. I didn't go upstairs because I was kind of scared, but I yelled back up to her that I was downstairs, and she stopped yelling. But I was worried she stopped yelling, and I kept yelling up to her from the bottom of the stairs, asking what was wrong. But then I heard the back door open behind me, and my mom walked in from taking our dog out, and she asked what was wrong and why I was yelling. I go ghost white, and I had to sit down, and was too scared to go upstairs for a while. So I feel your pain. That is so terrifying. Our next story is actually from the same person, and it is titled, "An Invisible Attacker Injured Me. I'd like to share my true story." This incident happened approximately 15 years ago, and it still really bothers me when I think about it. I haven't told many people, but I'd like to share my experience now with anyone who may be interested. Sorry for any typos, my phone hates me. At the time, I worked the night shifts in a warehouse of a printing factory. I would clock in at 3:30 p.m., so I would usually wake up at noon. And this day was supposed to be like any other typical workday. I had just woken up to my alarm, and like most people, I went straight to the restroom. To help you visualize this, I need to explain that in this restroom, the back of the toilet isn't against a wall like most restrooms. The back is against the side of a clothes dryer. The only thing in front of the toilet is the sink area. There's a wall right next to the toilet on the right side. There's an open space to the left of the toilet, and the rest of the room is behind you when you are on the toilet. About 20 seconds after I sat down on the toilet, I was struck from behind on my left shoulder blade. It felt like I gotten punched so hard, while simultaneously stabbed deep with a knife. The force was strong enough to shove me forward, causing me to lose my balance and almost slide off the toilet. I screamed out in pain and fear as I reached forward to the sink countertop to catch myself out of reflex. Terrified, I swiftly turned to look behind me, but no one was there, and the door to the restroom was still closed. There was nowhere to hide in this restroom either. If someone was there, I would have been able to see them easily from where I was. I was absolutely dumbfounded and panicked, just panting and looking around wildly for an explanation. I think I yelled, "What the heck?" over and over. I tried quickly to finish up, but it became apparent that my shoulder blade had been injured pretty bad, because I was in a great deal of pain. Lifting, reaching, pulling anything with my left arm was agonizing. Simply letting my arm dangle and even breathing was painful. My job was very physical, and there was no way I'd be able to do most of my job in this condition. Despite the medical bill I was facing, my job required a doctor's note to allow unscheduled time off, so I had to go see the doctor. The joy of being in America. I didn't want to wait several days for an appointment with my primary physician, so I went to the emergency room. I explained the bizarre situation to the nurse, who didn't seem fazed by my story, and she had me do a CT scan of my upper back. Eventually, the doctor came to my ER room to see me, and this is where it gets frustrating. The doctor visually examined my left shoulder blade and noted that it was swollen, but there was no noticeable redness or bruising. He then informed me that the CT scan showed 3 bone bleeds, aka bruised bones, but no fractures. The doctor asked me to explain again what caused my injury, and I did. He calmly listened to me, but to my surprise, he then accused me of being a victim of DV and lying about it. I know most people are skeptics with paranormal things, but I really didn't see that accusation coming. I defended myself against his accusations, telling him I was home alone and I'm not even in a relationship. I told him if he was correct about me being a DV victim, I would press charges, not make up a story about an invisible attacker. He became quite rude and obviously angry with me, convinced I was stubbornly lying. He eventually sent in a social worker to interview me, which I didn't even know was a thing at clinics and hospitals, but apparently it is. So I had to explain this bizarre event again, facing ridicule yet again. It was really upsetting, making a strange incident even worse. I wish I had made up some story about falling down or tripping into something, or maybe a sporting injury, but it hadn't occurred to me to lie. Eventually I left with basic pain medicine and instructions to rest my shoulder and apply ice. I was given a doctor's note to excuse my absence from work for a few days. I had a follow-up appointment with my primary care doctor a couple days later. I have known my primary care doctor for many years, and we are on great terms. I was a bit nervous to tell her how the injury occurred because of how things went at the ER, and I didn't want her to think I've gone crazy. I was hoping she would come up with a medical cause to this. There had to be something, right? She examined me while I told her about the incident. She asked questions about any past injuries to that area. There had been none. Asked about my typical physical activities, any atypical activities, family history, and checked the blood tests she had requested beforehand for any bleeding or clotting issue. We couldn't come up with anything, and that made me feel validated, but so very confused. After all, no one ever gets assaulted and injured by nothing. I told her what the ER doctor put me through, and that's when she told me she believed me. She admitted she couldn't determine any cause of my injury, because even an impact hard enough to make bones bleed would leave external physical signs, like bruises and redness. Plus, she knows I'm outspoken and feisty, and I wouldn't tolerate DV. And she trusts me because I'm always honest about my medical issues, even when it's embarrassing and awkward. Then she told me her culture believed in ghosts and spirits, and she knows others whom she trusts that have had unexplainable experiences. Honestly, that comforts me so much. I was starting to feel crazy. Sometimes when you experience something so strange, you really question yourself and doubt yourself, and I was starting to do that. But the CT scan of the bone bleeds helped me say, I did not imagine this really did happen to me. Thankfully, it never happened again, and I moved out of that place eventually. In truth, many strange things happened in that restroom throughout the year, and I had to do physical therapy for my shoulder blade, and it did get better. But unfortunately, I still have continued pain and occasional limitations when it gets rough. Thank you for reading my story. I would really love to know if any of you had had injury or physical attacks that failed to have an explainable cause. I am so sorry that happened to you. I've only gotten scratches and regular bruises from unknown sources, so I definitely believe you. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, and follow me if you want to see more. Please tell me what the spookiest thing that has happened to you is. If you want me to read your story in my next video, please post it on my Reddit r/spooksubmissions. I post every Saturday at 12, and I go live on Twitch on Friday and Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. My Twitch VODs will also be posted here after the stream. I play creepy and cozy games and do scary watch parties. I will see you in my next video. Good night, pumpkin.